Hey, Sun Devil fans, Brad Denny with 3TV, CBS 5, and the Speak of the Devils podcast here. And welcome back to another episode of the Speak of the Devils Sitdown Series, where I bring you in-depth, one-on-one conversations with key players, coaches, and other figures within Sun Devil athletics. To develop the Sun Devil defensive line, bringing in a guy who helped mold a newly inducted member into the Pro Football Hall of Fame seems like a pretty good choice. Diron Reynolds has put together a widely respected career at the college and NFL levels, mentoring a host of star players, including new Hall of Famer Dwight Freeney, while also earning a Super Bowl ring along the way. He also has been a key part of the Von Miller Pass Rush Summit, where the best pass rushers in the world gather annually to hone their craft. And through the early part of this 2024 season, his impact on Arizona State's line has been significant. On this episode, we go in-depth on his coaching origin story, how he worked his way up from a GA to a Super Bowl champion, the finer points of trench play, why he chose to come to Arizona State, the Sun Devils' D-line, and so much more. So let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Diron Reynolds. All right, Coach, so as we are recording this, ASU is on the first of 2 bye weeks, so a little chance to kind of take a deep breath and, through these first 4 games, what do you think is kind of the collective mindset of your defensive line group right now?
I think everybody's just trying to continue to ramp up. I think we're still gelling as a group, trying to find more pieces so guys won't have to take the full load of things. And I think everybody's trying to push each other along so they can continue to play at a high level.
What's impressed you so far about the defensive line through these first 4 games?
The biggest thing is just the resilience. I mean, I don't think this group gets, too high with the highs or too lows with the lows. But, we've been in some situations, games where we've been down and we fought back. And, I mean, I haven't seen this group flinch at all yet.
Where do you think that resilience comes from? Because, this is a team that's, obviously still growing, but, the situation at Texas State, just being able to kind of turn things around and, as you mentioned, kind of overcome that adversity has been one of the key things that really jumped out to me through the first third of the season.
I mean, I really think these guys lean on each other. And Coach Dillingham has done a good job of, just trying to make this a cohesive group. These guys spend time together. I know it's a little bit different this generation and whatnot because, they have so many other different options not to spend time with each other. But, they've made time, to spend with each other. They know kind of what makes each other tick. I think they do a really good job of, they're starting to call each other not out, but calling each other up, in certain situations. Just trying to get the best out of each other. I think they're starting to understand that this time is fleeting. Heck, a third of the season is already gone.
So kind of on the flip side, when you're looking through the tape, what are some of the areas that you've maybe seen as some growth opportunities and areas for improvement through these first 4 games?
I mean, I think we can do a better job of, getting ourselves in rush situations. And, when we do get in those situations, being able to play off each other better, rushing the passes, better together as a cohesive and collective group. I think that's something that, kind of stuck out at me. We're doing a lot of self-scout right now, just kind of looking at where we are, right now in the process of the season, just trying to find ways to give guys tools, so we can be better on the field together.
And of course, what's it been like working with a coach like Vince Amy, a guy who obviously, was on the Rose Bowl team here and such, and, obviously has a wealth of knowledge of his own.
Yeah, this is a really cool opportunity. Somebody that Coach Amy's been here and played here the whole 9. He loves this place. He bleeds this place, and it's really good just kind of get his perspective. Sometimes when we're talking in a room and whatnot, he'll definitely chime in and give opportunity to let guys know how important this opportunity is, letting guys know how people love this place. And, I think that kind of bleeds over into our group, and I think they're starting to feel that.
So going back a little bit, how did this opportunity here at Arizona State first pop up for you?
Got a chance to get on with Coach Dillingham and got a chance to talk to him and Coach B. Ward. I think we're all, this is a small profession. We all have friends that know each other. So, everybody pick up the phone and talk to each other, and we actually got a chance to interview and talk to each other about what's going on and what we see, our visions going forward and whatnot. And it seemed like a great opportunity, hopefully for both of us.
Yes, ultimately, when you talk to them and see what they're building out here in Tempe, ultimately, why was Arizona State kind of the right place to continue your career?
Well, outside looking in, I spent a lot of time at Stanford, and I always looked at ASU kind of a sleeping giant. We played down here a few times and whatnot. Played against them, and I just could never understand why this place could not win, has not won consistently. I've saw they've done great things in the past and whatnot, and um, I think this place could explode. I said the same thing to Coach Dillingham, in my interview as well. But I think this is I think this is a destination. A lot of places are small towns and whatnot, and that's great for football and that. But the way that everything is going with NIL and opportunity and whatnot, why not be in a metroplex in a situation where you could blow this thing wide open?
So when you came to Tempe and kind of took over that room, and what was kind of the message, the initial message to the players in that room? Obviously a new coach, and is something new that they have to adjust to, and kind of how they were responded to the new coach.
Well, every coach has their own way of coaching. Mine's a little bit different. I always try to, I got it written on my board over my shoulder. Add value, take strain, and we push that on the group all the time. If you're not adding value or taking strain, what good are you? And I think that goes for coaches as well. So we try in our room to add value to every situation. All right, not be a person that just points fingers. Be a person that hey, what's the problem? How can we solve it? How can we fix it? And I want these guys to kind of be on that level. So I think we as coaches, collectively, we try to do a really good job of showing our guys the why. And when they know the why, it's not a blame game. When you know the why, you can go fix it on the field. And that's what we're trying to mature and grow our groups into, so they know the why, so we can fix it, so we can be together as a group, so we know how to help each other.
Yeah, the why is an interesting aspect, because I talked to Brian Ward before the season. He mentioned that kind of the second year of this system here, players are starting to now understand the why, and not just what to do, but like the reasoning behind it. Even though you weren't here last year, but a lot of your players are now in their second year under Coach Ward in this defensive scheme. How have you seen that kind of that impact, that knowledge, that knowing the why translate on game day?
They know how it affects their teammates, which is great. They'll mess up something in the game, like, oh, coach, I can't do that. I'm like, oh, all right, why? Because hey, it's going to cloud the linebacker's read. I got to be in this spot so he can flow fast. And they're starting to give me some of those situations and those answers and whatnot, because they know how to affect their teammate. They know, and they also know now, when a teammate might make a misstep or whatnot, how it affects them as well. So they can actually call each other up about that and be like, hey, man, we got to get on the same page about this. Let's fix this going forward. And I think that makes a great conversation, and I think that makes you a great teammate.
Now, even though you're a relative newcomer on this staff, what's been the impression of working with Kenny Dillingham, who, one of the younger coaches in the country, but it seems like, people who work with him on a day in, day out basis, kind of a man beyond his years.
No doubt. And the great thing is, Kenny, Coach Dillingham's a great man, and he is kind of a man beyond his years, football wise, there's things that he knows, whatnot. But the great thing is, with his youth, he still keeps it light. He can still reach the players and whatnot. And it's really good. He knows how to turn it on and when to dumb it down a little bit. So, so the players can get rejuvenated and whatnot, so the coach can get rejuvenated. It's just been a joy, man, because he's really, brings some good aspects. When he comes out of the room with the defense and whatnot, he throws some things out there that he sees from a coordinator's perspective or offensive perspective that helps us as well. And it's been really, really good, really helpful.
What kind of jumped out to you most about working with Brian Ward and his scheme, and obviously you leading the men in the trenches there?
B. Ward is kind of the mad scientist of the whole group, man. He throws all this stuff together, has a plan in his head, man, and we just try to help paint that picture. Really good. The way he sees the game, the way he wants to call it. Different situations. I'm learning a lot as well. Being a D-line coach, how he sees it, and it helps me. When he articulates what he sees, to be able to help facilitate the vision. So good to be a part of it. Good to see that thing come together. And it's always good when we bring all our pieces together that we've, got from different aspects of coaching, and to see how he makes it work.
As someone who joined the program earlier this year, what are some of the things that jump out to you most about kind of the program culture now heading into kind of the second year of, what Kenny really wants to have, as kind of the defining traits of Sun Devil football?
I think you're starting to see some of the fruits of his labor. The way the guys hang out together. The way the guys, talk to each other. The way that they come in and try to find us. Looking for tape. Finding out what they can get better at. I think that culture is starting to build. It's just different in this day and time. With the transfer portal trying to make guys come together and gel so fast. But I think Coach Dillahan's done a great job with that.
I want to go back to the very start of your football journey. What was your kind of entry point into the sport?
Oh, well, my entry point to the sport was my father. My father was a coach. He coach high school ball for a little while, before he had to do some other things to help take care of his family. But I've been around football my whole life. I started playing football in third grade. So I don't know what a season is like without football. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Didn't know if I wanted to get into coaching, when ball was over with. I thought I was going to go the strength and conditioning route because I was always in the weight room. But, football kept calling me. And my high school coach, Coach Dusty Stripler, God rest his soul, got me into coaching. And he got me to coaching high school ball. And he just really just let me run with it. I got a chance to actually do the weight room stuff, put together a weight room book. Got a chance to coach, every sport. I mean, I coached girls track. I coached ninth grade basketball. I mean, I got a chance to just kind of do it all at that level. But that was kind of taxing to me. Bringing kids from like inner city, not seeing that they didn't have the right nourishment, the night, people taking care of them the way they need to. And that was just kind of weighed heavy on me. But I knew if I could coach on a collegiate level, at least I know they had a roof over their head. I knew they were taken care of. I knew they were fed. And that kind of started to fuel my passion to coach football. And it really took off from there.
And of course, before you got into coaching, you're a player in your own right. When did you first know that, maybe football could take you places, ultimately, of course, playing at Wake Forest?
When I got back to Wake, that's probably when my eyes really got open. I played football in my own right. Wasn't the most talented one in my family. I was just the oldest. I had a younger brother that played at Rice. That was really really smart guy, and he's coaching high school ball now too. And I had my youngest brother that played at Florida State back in the day, and he was a Lombardi Award winner, 10th pick in the draft, the whole nine. So football has been in my family's life the whole time, man. I always knew it could take me places. Growing up in Aiken, South Carolina, not even being on a plane until I flew for my first trip in college, that let me know that football could take me places. And, I've been blessed. It's helped me see the world. And I've coached on a couple different continents, which has been great. Coached over in England a couple of years when we went over and played the first NFL game over in Europe. Which was great. Got a chance to coach a preseason game in Japan. So, it's been great. Again, it has helped me like literally see the world.
So how would Wake Forest linebacker Diron Reynolds fit into this Sun Devil defensive scheme of Brian Ward?
Oh, I might not be fast enough. I was a downhill in the box guy. Carrying number 2 in a green with a green front with cover 2 on the backside. Might not be my cup of tea.
And ultimately, on your coaching journey, you were able to kind of come back and coach at your alma mater. How special was that opportunity?
No, it was really special. Being there with Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell brought me back as a grad assistant. I coached there as a grad assistant a couple years. Like I say, I try to tell young men all the time, take advantage of your opportunities, man. I got a chance to get back, got my master's, met my wife in one of my master's classes because she had come back for her 5th year to play basketball there. To come back and start my career and meet my wife. Hey, I win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a great journey. Football has given me everything. From great, being around great coaches, like Coach Dungy, Jim Caldwell, it's been an outstanding ride. Got a chance to work with David Shaw for all those years out at Stanford. I mean, get a chance to work with some great people. It's been a blessing.
So yeah, so what is the path from that college linebacker to ultimately a very successful, influential NFL and power forward defensive line coach?
Well, yeah, that was quite a journey. I never thought I thought I was going to be a linebacker coach. I mean, I really did. I started off coaching outside linebackers. I think Jim Caldwell's vision for me was to coach linebackers. But when I got a chance to get to the league, Coach Dungy, at the time, told me, "Say, hey, you can coach whatever you want." Back then, you only had one quality control guy on either side, and that was going to be the assistant coach to whatever position he decided to work with. I said, "Well, Coach, who do you want me to work with?" I'm thinking linebacker. He said, "Well, do this." He said, "Be fair to you, be fair to everybody else, because everybody, wants an assistant." He's like, "Take a week, sit in each room, see where you think you best fit, and go with the best coach or where you think you can help." And I got a chance to, sit in John Turlick's room. When he was, he's been one of the greats of all times. He actually inducted some guys into the Hall of Fame and whatnot. So it's been, John Randall, he actually did his induction into the Hall of Fame. And when I sat in his room, I really took a liking to the way he coached and some of the things that he was teaching. And I never thought I'd be a D-line coach. It never crossed my mind. And just the stuff I learned from him. I remember the first day I walked into his office when I made a decision. He's like, "All right, everything you think you know about football, hey, forget it. All right. Open up, learn all this pass rush stuff, everything I got to give you, and I promise you your life will be better." And I did. So that's kind of how this journey started.
And then ultimately you reach the summit and win a Super Bowl with the Colts. What was that experience like, just to get to the absolute pinnacle of this sport?
I mean, I really can't put that into words. Not only doing that, but doing it with the guys and the way we did it. Seeing a Dwight Freeney come into the league, as a rookie, and it was my rookie year in the league too, coaching, watching him grow, seeing a Robert Mathis come in there, watching him grow and actually being a part of it. Watching how Coach Dungy conducted himself, day in and day out on both sides of the ball, seeing Coach Dungy like literally take the book, and I'm supposed to be the guy showing it in the huddle, and he's showing the plays on offense and defensive side, actually running practice like he's a GA. I mean, it's, seeing guys, put in work the way that they put in work and how they did it, with grace and pride and character. That really that did it for me. And actually, ultimately going to the Super Bowl and seeing that, and on top of that, my favorite artist playing at halftime in the rain, Prince.
Oh my God!
It's like, yeah. I mean, I'm like, man, it was just a blessing, and be able to have my family there, and we won it all, and it was quite amazing.
And then also, of course, one of the players you mentioned there, ultimately, I believe you recently just got a nice gold jacket there. How gratifying was that experience?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I got a chance. Coach Gillingham allowed me. I know it was right in the middle of camp to go up to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and see Dwight Freeney get inducted, and then that was a pleasure and an honor. It was a good kind of almost like a family reunion. A lot of the guys came back. Peyton, a lot of those guys, Edgerrin James, came back to see Dwight come back, and it just really reminded me. And I reiterated to my guys when I got back. It really just reminded me how special that group was, not because of how special their talents were, but because those guys hung together. Those guys, like their family. I hadn't. That was quite an experience, really, just to see that and to see them all back together again.
So, as someone who has coached, at the highest level, and a few spots at throughout major college football, you worked with a lot of coaches. Who are some of the most influential coaches across your journey, and what are some of the things maybe you've taken from them and kind of incorporate into your own coaching skill set?
So I've taken things from a lot of people, man. That's what we do as coaches. We steal. We won't call it steal. We borrow, okay? And it becomes kind of your makeup, I mean, I can start off, with Coach Triplett, my high school coach, when he brought me back, just watching his demeanor, the way he coached and whatnot, he was very influential with me. When I played with Jim Caldwell, and then he brought me back as a grad assistant, he kind of let me work. He gave me the reins to a lot of things, and I mean, not only when I was a grad assistant, back in the day, it was only one grad assistant on each side. So I had to do like the film work too. I had to do, there's a lot of different things that you had to do that made you grow. And, being a young man that not married, no kids, whatnot, hey, you just grind it. And it shaped you. He gave me an opportunity to do that. Getting a chance to go, with Coach Dungeon and see the way he did things, being the defensive mind, being the conductor and of the Tampa 2 defense, running Pirates and all the different stunts and stuff that we ran, being able to see how he operated, jump back Jim Caldwell as well. I saw him on that level. Also, a lot of the assistant coaches, Leslie Frazier was on that staff, before he became a head coach, seeing him as assistant coach and then ultimately working for him when he became a head coach, seeing the way he did it. Assistant coaches, man, I can name so many people. Carl Dunbar, he's with the Steelers right now. He kind of took me under his wing when I was there as his assistant at the Vikings, learning how to, play double teams and, doing things like that. Taught me a whole lot, how to run a room, being able to watch those guys on that level, and how he kind of made that room do, what he needed to do. Yeah, I could throw so many names.
So college coaching is obviously a very demanding profession, and obviously the work you guys put in on and off the field. What are the things that drive you? What are the things that are most gratifying for you as a coach at this level?
The biggest thing for me to see these young men grow, we just still got to remember that they're young and they're kids. And now, they don't want to hear that, but it's the truth, and the ones that embrace it and understand that you have life lessons to give to them and can get past the stuff. Because right now they have so much stuff to get through. The NIL, back when I was in, there was no NIL. You had the money in your pocket. That's what you had. But now they have so many other opportunities, and some of the opportunities can become distractions. They can come distractions from your schoolwork. They can come distractions from being a good teammate. They can come distractions from a lot of other things, from you putting in time for keeping the hunger for football the way that you need to keep it. I think my job is the bigger job now, to help them focus on the main thing. Keeping the main thing the main thing. What got you there? What make you love this game? And seeing them grow in that and become the men that they're going to become. The most gratifying thing for me is to still get the phone calls from guys that I've coached, whether they're still playing at the highest level or whether they're just raising a family, just the life lessons. And I think sometimes we can speed through this thing with wins and losses and forget about the main purpose of helping young men become who they need to be in life.
So one of the other notable aspects, of course, your work with Von Miller and the Pass Rush Summit, so influential, so many, talented pass rushers making their way through. How did that get going off the ground, and what impact has it had on your coaching career?
Well, it's been great. Von's been real cool with that. I mean, I guess he had an idea. I got a couple of friends of mine that are agents and friends of Von and whatnot, and he said Von had an idea about making this pass rush summit. I was like, all right, let's make it happen. They're like, well, can you help put it together? I was like, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. And as we got together and we started putting this thing together, we saw where this thing could take off to. Hopefully this thing becomes like the Manning Academy or pass rush summit type deal. And Von's doing the smart thing with it too. He's passing on to the younger guys. You got Max Crosby, jumping up doing it. You got Cam Jordan, at the edge of his career, helping make this thing fly. But it's been really good. This was I think it was year 8. We started this when I was out at Stanford, when it started on the campus, right there in the classroom there. And it has kind of taken off from there. It's kind of taken its own deal. Max's group is starting to take on some of this stuff, and watching a young guy like Max come into his own thing, great dude, be able to make this thing grow and go the way it needs to go. I think it really has kind of taken his own legs and kind of sprouted some wings too. But it's been good for me. It's always good to get that NFL feel and to hear what those guys see and what those guys learn. Matter of fact, I mean, we go through the season as coaches. We go PFF and we break down a lot of these guys' tape, and we show it to our own guys and how to run things, what they're supposed to look like, and whatnot. So it's been really good, and Cam has been really gracious too, because he's a hometown hero. He came through this year and actually sat down with my guys and watched some tape with them and kind of spread some of his wisdom. So it's good to kind of have Cam show us some love, and this being his hometown to help our guys out.
So who are some of the guys that, the NFL guys right now today that are that are some of the best examples that you like to show your guys?
Cam is a big body. He's one because he can play inside and out, rushing the passer. Max is definitely. Bond is his career is. I mean, dude. I mean, he's been playing for a long time. He's still doing the same thing. I just watched him tape on him the other day, and he's it's all the stuff that he talks about. He continues to put on tape. You like some of the big inside guys. That are good pass rushers too. But I like to watch collectively how guys rush together. I like to watch the best groups that not just the individuals, but how the groups rush together and how they play off each other. That's some of the big things I try to show. Those are the plays and stuff that I tag.
So obviously you've accomplished so much throughout your career to this point at the college and NFL levels. But what would Coach Reynolds today tell the Coach Reynolds about to start as a high school assistant in 1995?
Hey, write it all down. Everything that you get, every step of the journey, write it all down. All right. Remember all the people that helped you. Always continue to have those contacts. Talk in many clinics as you can. All right. Learn to fail, learn to get better, and sit in on as many clinics as you can. Because I just remember I can go back in some of my notebooks now. I wrote down a lot of stuff. And there's some stuff now that slips my mind. I really wish I had wrote down that I had the opportunity to be privy to.
So obviously, it's such a big part of college coaching is recruiting, and how would you describe your recruiting style, and also just how the portal era has kind of impacted the approach to kind of building out a group through in the trenches.
My recruiting style is just that. Just be real. Tell people the truth. Tell them what's going on. Tell them how you see them. And you just hope that they're fit for your program. That's just me. I mean, I want the parents to know that their kids are going to be taken care of here. They're going to be treated like young men. They're going to be, I tell our group all the time, hey, you'll be treated fair but not equal, because truthfully, everybody brings something different to the table, and you'll be treated to the fact of what you bring to the table. But you'll always be treated fair, and I think that guys can respect that when they know that you have their best interests at heart when you're trying to help them. I think that they respect that, and I think the parents respect that as well. And always make sure parents to know that, hey, I'm an open book, I'm an open door. You can call me anytime, and I make sure they got my work number and my personal number. And there's nothing that will ever be hidden here. I mean, I don't sidestep the hard conversations, if they need to be had, and I hope that all the parents and all the players embrace that as well.
So, what are some of the things that you look for in a defensive end and edge guy? Especially when you kind of put it through the prism of Brian Ward's defensive scheme.
Man, we would look for twitch. We need to look for guys like Prince Dober that can run. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd like to have a guy with the twitch of Prince Dober, with the length of a Clayton Smith, and with the stoutness of a Justin Watley. If we put all that together, we might have the perfect defensive end.
And then kicking inside, what are some of the traits that you feel will be most successful in this scheme? On the inside of tackle.
Inside of tackle, I mean, you need. I mean, I like my tackles to be smart. I mean, I really do. Guys like CJ make my job easy. Guys like Kangaika, they make my job easy. Guys like Jeff, man, those guys get off the rock and be disruptive. They make my job easy. But you need guys inside that are able to see certain things, calm things down, and be able to really be disruptive inside. And you really want big body, disrupted guys that can move and be sudden, and guys that love to use their hands.
A guy like Elijah O'Neal, and Kenny Dillingham recently called him, one of the most improved players on this entire team, and watching him last year to where he is now, even in my view, it's just like it's pretty remarkable to see. And when I spoke to him recently, he really kind of raved about what he's learned so far from you. What is it about a guy like Elijah who has kind of maybe gone through the junior college route and maybe didn't get as quality instruction as possible, but then ultimately has that talent that you're able to tap into?
Well, the thing that you respect about Elijah, he brings his lunch pail to work every day. I mean, this guy comes to the meeting, he's wired in all the time. When you see a guy like that, I mean, you're naturally going to get better. He's been like that since day one. When I walked in here, man, he's knocking on my door, he's sitting at my desk, he's trying to find all the little tools that's going to help him go. And when guys start picking up on those type of things and start seeing the little things, they can play faster. And I think that's really made his game so much better because he can play faster now and play more freely. His attention to detail is one of the best in the room, and that's really what I expect about Elijah in the way he plays the game. Plays hard, plays fast, plays physical, and is not shy about throwing his body around.
So obviously, you've seen a lot of defensive linemen, and of course, various schemes and various skill sets and talents and such. And whether they're just fringe guys on an NFL roster, all the way to the Gold Jacket Club. Have you found any kind of set of just maybe common traits for success for guys in the trenches and playing D-line?
The biggest common trait, and if you made it that far and you're at the next level, the biggest common trait is just work ethic. I mean, that's just the truth. Taking notes every day. I make sure, the guys, I know we can't really monitor how much tape that they watch outside because of the 20-hour rule and all that stuff. But, I ask them, did you watch your own tape? Most really professional guys, if this is going to be your profession, you go home, you're hurrying to watch your tape like a kid opening a present at Christmas, because this is who you want to be. So you got to study yourself to make yourself better. Guys that I've been used to in the league, they go home, they watch their own tape, and they have all kind of instruction per play, per everything, and they come back not only with questions, they come up with answers and stuff too. And before you can even get it out on film, when you're going to instruct them in the classroom, they're already answering it for you because they've studied themselves so much and they're so in tune to what's going on in the defense. That's what you gotta. Those are the guys that you want. That's who you gotta be, because if you want to make it on the next level and maintain on the next level, you got to become this. And that's what we're trying to get across to our young men here, so they can understand who they say they want to be.
So 4 games in the books right now for the Devils in this 2024 campaign. What needs to happen in your view over the remainder of the regular season and potential bowl game for you to kind of look back at this 2024 season and be like, this was a successful year for my guys?
If I can get them not to ride the wave, that's the biggest thing. I keep warning them. I say, man, hey, success is coming, but let's not put the cart before the horse. And it's going to be how you handle the success when it comes. And the way you handle success is, one, respecting your opponent. And the way you respect your opponent is by preparing. And we got to get more consistent in our preparation, day in and day out. All right, Tuesday is Tuesday, Wednesday is Wednesday. Whatever days that we prepare, all right, you can't miss an opportunity to prepare. Whether it's a mental preparation, whether it's physical preparation, whether it's a walkthrough and you're not getting the rep and you're standing on the side, it's got to be in the prep. We got to continue to make sure our guys understand how dialed in you got to be and how fleeting these opportunities are, and not to let them slip by, because I feel like we let one slip by last week.
I'd like to thank Diron for taking the time to talk with me for this episode. I'd also like to thank Doug Tamaro of ASU Media Relations. Make sure you are subscribed to Speak of the Devils on the podcast platform of your choice for more great Sitdown Series episodes, plus continuing coverage of the 2024 season. And also be sure to follow me on social media at bdenny29.